hey, how's everybody doing? We're feeling good. I'm just telling you. That's that's what I like to do. I like to go, hey, how are you feeling? You're feeling good. We're feeling good. Everyone's good. This is great. Nothing's wrong. Everything's great. Please confirm it for me. Hard way. It's a little intense to start a podcast, but I feel like I need to start a little bit intense just because I have been procrastinating on doing this. I've spent my entire day lying on the couch, just finding different things I can do that aren't the podcast. I watched the final 2 episodes of Mandalorian. Liked it a lot. Someone sacrificed himself for his friends. Got a little teary. That's all it really takes for me. You have one, especially you have a big, burly, masculine man who lays down his life for his friends. Forget about it. I'm going to cry. If in the new Guardians of the Galaxy, Drax sacrifices himself for his friends, I'm going to be in the movie theater like, Dave Bautista. Ooh, that's probably going to happen, isn't it? Yondu did it in 2. It'll be Drax in 3. Because there's no, like, Dave Bautista has already said he's not coming back no matter what. Which makes sense. He's grown as an actor beyond what that role requires of him. So he's definitely going to die. And what's he going to say? He'll die with like some, like, it'll be like, oh, he's going to be like, I'm going to see my daughter and wife again. And oof, you're going to be sitting in that theater, packed opening night, and it's going to be silent, and you're going to hear a couple people off in the distance going, that's great. That's one of my favorite things, honestly, truly, is being in a movie theater and like just hearing people crying around you. That was The Whale. That's what The Whale should have been. I went and saw The Whale a little while off release, so it was just me alone in there. So there was no one to witness my sniffles, which is kind of, personally, that's the reason why I go to a movie theater. I'm only really going to a movie theater to cry, and because I like to cry in public, and that's kind of the only place that it's acceptable to do so. Because the light's dark, you can't. That's what I think. What I like about it is you're not having to. I don't want to see someone cry. Seeing someone cry, it makes me uncomfortable. But hearing people cry, that makes me actually feel very. That's like permission. That's like, oh, everyone else, alrighty, me too. But yeah, Drax is definitely dead. I do love me some Dave Bautista. I hope Dave Bautista just keeps, like, the cool thing about Dave Bautista is, like, every single movie you see him in, he's getting, like, 30% better at acting. So I feel like there's going to be a point, I don't know, within the next, if he just keeps that up, that's like exponential growth. There's going to be a point where Dave Bautista just becomes Daniel Day-Lewis. Like, he's just going, if he just keeps getting 30% better every time, he's never going to top out. That's just better and better and better. By the time he's like 90, he's going to be like Christopher Plummer. Like, he's just going to be incredible. And I don't know what 90-year-old Dave Bautista is going to look like. I hope he still somehow maintains his physicality. Like, he's just an old man, and he sounds like an old man, and like his face, like he's all wrinkly, and he's got that like gravitas of an old man, but then he just, like, every time it cuts to a wide, you're like, Jesus. That's my favorite part of watching Dave Bautista in any movie, because now he's gotten so much better at acting since he began that in the close-ups you're like, oh, oh my God, beautiful. It's a beautiful performance. I can't believe just the emotionality. He's so connected into what he's doing. You're hearing people sniffling in the movie theater around you, and you're like, oh my God, this is a beautiful performance. And then it cuts to the wide, and you forget how fucking huge he is, and you're like, whoa, why is it? There's a silverback gorilla in this scene for some reason. Dave Bautista reminds you that most actors are theater nerds. Most actors are not giant wrestler men. And I think it's a fun contrast. I like the Cabin in the Woods. Dave Bautista is playing a, what's he playing? He's playing a fucking school teacher. And I like that. Like, I like the contrast of just like, yeah, if you need a gentle giant character, he's your go-to. It used to be Michael Clark Duncan. It used to be if you needed a gentle giant, you had to go to John Coffey for it. And now it's Dave Bautista. And, in the age of remakes, we're not that far away from The Green Mile starring Dave Bautista. What have I been up to lately? I've been doing the cold plunges recently, which is super cool. Highly recommend it. It's one of those things, cold plunges, that like I'm not telling anybody I'm doing cold plunges, because as soon as you start telling people you're doing cold plunges, you might as well invest in crypto. You might as well get yourself an undercut and just commit to the whole grind culture, Sigma male lifestyle. And that's not really what I want to do. So I just have been lying to everyone. I tell them that I'm taking warm showers like a regular person, but I'm not. I take ice cold showers, and that's just what I do. And I kind of want to do a story. I want to do a story again. That's what I miss. So what can the story be? Well, let's do this. I've been doing the cold plunges lately, and I've been really enjoying it. It's been like energizing me, and I feel all like in my body, and it's good. Like, it feels like very like doing karate under a waterfall, or at least what I imagine that feels like. I haven't ever done that. I don't have access to waterfalls or knowledge of how to do karate, but I've been enjoying the ice baths because that's what it feels like. It feels very like Karate Kid, but it's now I'm always looking for the next level. You know what I mean? I'm always looking to go bigger and better. So what I'm decided I'm going to do is I'm going to seek even colder temperatures. So first thing I did was I bought myself an ice cream truck. And just for the sake of, they have like a big like walk-in freezer in one of those. And it's the downside to buying an ice cream truck in order to do polar plunges in the walk-in freezer of it is it's very hard to get that kind of like meditative karate under a waterfall thing going on, that like inner peace, like wax on, wax off. Because fucking kids are always coming and like knocking on the outside of my ice cream truck and going like, we want freezies. And I'm like, I'm trying to focus here, kids. And you're making it very difficult for me to do that. So what I have done is essentially I've tried to do some sort of like kind of auditory programming with these children. As we all know, ice cream trucks have a very specific sound cue that lets kids know they're coming. And so what I've done is I've gotten rid of that like thing, and I've replaced it with Raining Blood by Slayer. Actually, no, but that was my first thought. I tried Raining Blood with Slayer, but then I was just having, dudes with huge beards and long hair just coming up and be like, one fudgesicle, please. And that wasn't for me either. It was the same, but different. I was still not getting my sort of dojo pure focus because it was getting interrupted by fellas who wear leather vests. And so what I decided to do instead was it now plays Limp Bizkit music because that attracts no one. And it's I shouldn't even say that because I'll let you guys in on a little secret. Limp Bizkit never really worked for me. I would rather listen to Korn. I would rather listen to Deftones. I would rather listen to Slipknot. There's so many other new metal bands that I would rather listen to before I listened to Limp Bizkit that it just never happened. Having said that, the new Limp Bizkit album that came out like within the last couple of years, Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, fucking incredible. Just like my friend who I trust, who is a metal aficionado, reached out to me out of the blue and he was like, you've got to listen to the opening track on Limp Bizkit Still Sucks. And he's a man who knows sick, heavy guitar riffs. So I decided to listen to it. And you know what? Limp Bizkit still sucks. But in a good way. It sucks and it sucks you in. You know what I mean? Like what is this? And the whole album, honestly, like it just, as I kept going, I was like, oh, every song, I'm like, oh, this still sucking me in. And so Limp Bizkit sucked me off. That's gross. But it's, whatever. Hot dog flavored water, chocolate starfish. Not everybody has got a body like me. So I got to think twice before I give my heart away. But regardless, my ice cream truck plays Limp Bizkit music because it repulses the average folks. Not a lot of people listen to Limp Bizkit Still Sucks, their greatest album. So what I'm doing is I'm driving down the road because I like to find myself a nice scenic area to do my ice cream truck polar plunges. So I'll go to like a park, I'll go to the beach, places that unfortunately there are children who might want ice cream or metalheads. And actually there's not a lot of metalheads at the beach because of the sun and joy and lack of mosh pits. But I will drive to these beaches and I park and I see out as soon as I park, it's like a zombie movie. I just see a wave of children and they start just coming towards that ice cream truck because they see it. And then what I do is I flick my switch and it goes, it's just one of those days. And all the kids just immediately, I see their faces go, and they just turn around and run as fast as they can in the opposite direction. And then I'm like, perfect. Time to have my refreshing and focus-filled polar plunge. So I go to get into my freezer. And unfortunately, now I'm listening to Break Stuff by Limp Bizkit, and it's not a meditation song. I don't think it was written to be one. I don't think it had the capacity in any way to be a meditation song. So now here I am. I'm fucking stuck with it. And I'm in a pickle now, right? Because I've solved one problem and I've created another. I've bought a bunch of cats to kill all the rats, but now I've got a bunch of feral cats reproducing in my garage. No rats, but now I got to get snakes to get rid of the cats, and then I got to get falcons, and before you know it, you've just got a whole bunch of Morlocks living in your garage eating falcons. And that's no way to have a clean and tidy storage space. So I'm like, okay, I can't even focus anymore. And it's hard, I'm trying to start my day. You want to start your day with one of these polar plunges because you want that like dopamine hit that lets you, do the good. And it's just, now I have to get out of my polar plunge, and now I'm frustrated because my body wants that dopamine hit from the polar plunge, but there's nothing there. So I've got to go and drive, and it's just one of those days where nothing you want to. It's I wish I knew the rest of the lyrics from that song. I think it's just the reason I don't know any more of the lyrics to break stuff is because I hear the "dana ka-chan-chika," and I'm like, ooh, that's sick. Yeah. Dana. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear more. And then it's just one of those days. And I'm like, turn it off. And I've never heard the rest of the song, so I don't know any of the other lyrics. But so now here I am. I'm trying to get my icy dopamine. I'm trying to get my like pep in the step in the morning. I'm trying to get that cold in me to, focus my mind and become alert and really get that like zip in my step. And but I can't focus because there's Limp Bizkit playing at all times. So have you guys ever heard of cocaine? Because a fella on the street, I was explaining this to a fella on the bus, and I was saying that, like, I was like, I cold and focus, and he was like, have you ever tried snow? And I was like, I don't think rolling around in the snow is going to be quite as cold as a polar plunge. And he was like, no. You ever tried snow? And I was like, putting snow on I got a face wash a couple times as a kid on the playground. Jab my head in the snow. My snow. I guess that was pretty. And he goes, no. And he did one of these, which usually, if a stranger is talking to you and goes, you're about to hear a racial slur. But luckily, I didn't this time. He was just like, no, I mean cocaine. And I have never done cocaine before, but I was like, I guess if you think that'll help me focus. And he goes, cocaine is great for focusing. And he goes, did you ever see The Wolf of Wall Street? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, that's what they were doing in that. And I was like, oh, I thought he was just using a straw to smell that girl's butthole in the opening scene. I thought that was what the movie was. I thought Jordan Belfort was just a fella who liked to use straws to smell girls' buttholes. I'd never heard of cocaine when I saw The Wolf of Wall Street. So that was always a very perplexing scene to me because I was like, why would you need a straw for that? Why would you need a straw to smell that nice lady's butthole, Jordan Belfort? Just get right in there, buddy. But yeah, no, apparently that scene they're doing cocaine that whole movie. These things go over your head sometimes. But this fella on the bus, he was like, he goes, I got a bunch of cocaine. I can sell it to you if you want. But first, let me ask you something. Have you ever been sold a pen before? And in that moment, I realized, oh my God, this is Jordan Belfort himself. And then he sniffed my butthole through a straw. And we listened to some Limp Bizkit, and now we're in love.